Welcome back to Bronze League Heroes in the bottom left of New Repugnancy. It is at Duskrain. And sending his first probe out, it is Milo, the blue Protoss. Building a gateway and walling off the low ground? I'm not sure. Are we sure this isn't Grandmasters? Now, of course, Bronze League heroes don't actually have to be bronze. The heroic part is more important. Bit of an interesting patrol path. So far, everything off to a swimming start. This one brought to us by FFT Private, who judged it worthy of a look. Now, without too many spoilers. Now, if you're like, wow, that was boring and not exciting, blame him, not me. And if you're the person who sent this in and it's not exciting, you should feel bad. No. There's a process. Description or whatever. Go check it out on Discord. Anyways, 2 gates on the way. This is something... Okay, so that's not a wall. Actually leaving a nice little gap there. So far, this looks relatively normal. Maybe a couple of Adepts or Stalkers. Actually, that Overlord was chasing down the probe. I'm not sure how important that is right now. I think he can see it just fine. Now, no expansion for our Protoss. He's going to be very focused on this early... Okay. Perfect time for an expo. I mean... He's already got his wall set up. He's got everything he needs. Got Warp Gate on the way, so obviously not a Florencio Smurf here. The probe is just waiting. There's no Zerglings yet to stop it. 3 bases so far. The first 2 Adepts shading across the map. The beautiful Golden Age skins, by the way. Now, will more skins equal more wins? There are no Zerg... Okay, there's 2 Zerglings on the map, which does not counter 2 Adepts very reliably. Even queuing up another shade into the main. Okay, looking for more opportunities here. Oh, the drones get the surround. Only 1 kill so far, but the citizens rest. Many Adepts will be lost. I mean, many drones will be lost. He lost 4. But that was probably the best case scenario, was a shade right into the mineral line there. Anything else that would have allowed them to slip around would have killed a lot more drones. So, he's just going to replace them immediately. Nicely done by Duskrain. Behind this, there is a Stargate, but with the Pervert Pillar here, Duskrain going to be able to spot it if he's paying attention. Which is not necessarily a guarantee. But besides that early aggression, it does appear we're going to have a relatively passive game for either side. No Zergling speed on the way. 10 more Lings, a 4th Hatchery, and a Void Ray. So things starting to get into a weird direction here. But we're still we're if there were rails and this were a train, then it'd be a little bit like we're still on the rails, but it's dicey, okay? This first Void Ray could prompt a strong and disproportionate response out of Duskrain, or he'll just continue macroing up. It's unclear. The Void Ray comes out, charges up, will burn down the Overlord with that prismatic alignment. He's also got glaives on the way underneath. Plenty of drones for Duskrain. I don't think he's going to realize there are glaives coming up now. Glaved Adepts can slice through any, well, Zerglings, drones, even Queens. You really do need something a little bit more substantial, whether it's Roaches, sometimes Hydras, Banelings, something that doesn't take 2 hits to kill, ideally. More gates are being added on. A surprising macro focus out of Duskrain so far. As he's macroed his way up to 4 bases. His lair, not late. Actually, a normally timed lair. We're just a little bit more used to seeing very early lairs from players who do not have a vision for where their gas is going to go past the 2-minute mark. A fancy... Now, I got it. The Golden Age Oracles definitely look pretentious. Oracles are already a pretentious unit, looking down on everyone. Like, oh, I have all of the revelations. But somehow it has like an upturned nose, whereas the other Oracles just have their fancy disco balls. So, the most pretentious of all Oracles. He's gonna come in. Just, oh, nice little tag there with the revelation. A lot of Adepts are on the way, though. Things are gonna heat up. Are there any roaches? This is gonna do a lot of damage. Now, 69 drones for Duskrain. Nice. That means he can lose many of them and still have a decent economy. And the Adepts were on a right-click, not an A move. They'll easily slice through the first round of Zerglings. Now, Shade is gonna be thrown. There's almost no other units. A Hydralisk Den is on the way. There is no Roach Warren. Also, the Oracle finding some damage as well. Is this Stats or is this Milo? A whole swath of drones are gonna be killed. The Queen's doing their best. 28 drones down so far. Duskrain almost even. And most of the drones up to the north side. It looks like the Oracle did go down. Oh, he shades the Adepts. You already have a Hydra done. And you can never have too many. This is very reminiscent of early Legacy of the Void when nobody knew how to deal with Adepts. And they just kind of killed everything. The Queen... Wait, the Queen barely survives. Whips a transfuse in. The Zerglings were somehow avoided. There's another base of drones. He's already lost 44. He's going for 50. But plenty of Zerglings come down. That should be enough to stop this. We're going to have to ask the eternal question. At what cost? The Hydras just shred him. Okay. And immediately Duskrain. He builds more drones. I mean... Oh, Milo, not very interested in being supply blocked for quite a while. He's got a Dark Shrine, 6 pylons, charge on the way, some Zealots back at home. I appreciate Duskrain's macro focus. He knows that at the end of the day, more stuff counters less stuff, particularly lower in the meta leagues. And if he just gets back, despite losing 44 drones, if he just gets back to that 69 drone count, he's going to be in a nice position to transition into, well, pretty much whatever he wants. That's approaching the late game. 70 to 80 drones is usually a late game number. Same with probes, but drones are a little bit more necessary. But plenty of Zealots are being warped in. Looks like we're going with the next tower defense wave, which is going to be charge lots. In this progressively, it's like gun game in Counter-Strike. When you kill someone, you get the next level of units. We got Adepts. Now we got charge lots. After that, can I predict Dark Templar for level 3? Duskrain's back up to 69 drones. Oh my god, I was just making a joke. But apparently that's his money now. Okay, he's making more drones. Some Archons being morphed in. Merged, I guess. Coming into being. This is a strong-looking army, though. Couple charge lots piece. I don't know if that's intentional or it's just a pathing thing. Yeah, looks like it was pathing. 2 Archons and a couple dozen charge lots following in their wake after a quick miscommunication with Apple Maps. Ayer Maps, I'm sorry. But are there enough units? Another big round of drones is gonna die, but do the Roaches and Hydras come down the ramp? Another round of... Oh, DT's in the mix. He's just decided to let that base go, which is, for better or for worse. You can only let so many bases go. Duskrain is now spurred into action. Now, the charge lots are getting boxed out by the Archons here. Did he just kill his own Void Ray? Yep. So his mouse accuracy may be controller level. But as long as you build charge lots, you don't actually need to micro. Well, hopefully he doesn't, for his sake. So, 2 bases die, 88 drones. He's doubled his drone kills exactly from the last wave of attacking units. And now we're going into the next phase. Double Robo. An interesting main base, a very aesthetically pleasing, well-spread one. You don't want to be overcrowded. He made sure to get enough pylons in his main. He's going to shore that up now. 2 forges, 2 robos, more pylons. He's backed off. Duskrain is just kind of chilling. He's back down to 33 drones. Oh, even more Archons. 5 more at a time. So there's going to be 2-2 on the Zerg army, but significantly less army. Whereas those are unupgraded charge lots and Archons, but there are 41 charge lots and 7 Archons. Like, that is potentially a GG of Protoss. Is the 2-2 on the Roach Hydra going to be enough? It should be done in just a few moments. He's just going straight for it. He's wound up another round. Oh, and no, he's right-clicked! Oh my god! Okay, so a bit of a false start there. He loses half a dozen or so charge lots. There is an Overseer, which will allow him to see those Dark Templar until he loses the Overseer, which will be bad. There's only 1 DT in the mix. The force fields, it's unclear who they're helping more. The Archons are all that are left over. The 1 DT doing its best. The Roach Hydra, oh, he's target firing, which means his Archons get in range of everything. That 1 Dark Templar at 10 kills now. The Duskrain showing why upgrades are very important, and also mostly just attacking with your units as opposed to not attacking with your units. Somehow, well, let's look at the units lost. It's actually about even after all that. But Milo has lost 2,000 more gas because Duskrain has lost 88 drones. What have I done? Jimmy! What have you... We're gonna get an instant replay of the whole thing. Speed through. You're fired. All the action that's happened thus far between the two games. We can watch all the drones die again. So all you Zerg players out here, cut your drones. Whereas all you Protoss out there, take your notes. A Dark Templar to win the day. As we get back to it. The Adepts killing all the drones. Missing all the action. 44, and then another 44, making 88. With the second round. Death, destruction, domination. The rebuilding. The follow-up attack. We can break it down again. Just not an incredibly cost-effective engagement from our Protoss player. The 1 DT being the only survivor. And we're back to the action. Two Immortals on the way. We progress to the next phase. Duskrain, he's getting... Oh, he does have Burrow. Okay. Tunneling Claws without Burrow is a staple of many Zergs. It's like, oh yeah, what are these things for? Why do I have these? It's a great question. But now he's adding in Immortals. He's going to have upgrades. Milo is step by step whittling down the weak parts of his army in order to replace them with strength. And what is stronger than Immortals? but the buildup continues. Legend has it that Duskrain has never marred the beauty, the natural beauty of his base with creep tumors, and does not spread creep more ever since the great Metal League regulations of 2019. It was decreed that every player below Diamond who would like to creep spread first must be asked, do you have over 1,000 gas you need to spend first? And since the answer to that question is always yes, they have never creep spread in this entire year. Alright, well, the roaches are on the way. Was that pathing, or is there an observer? Oh, this could all end. This could all end very quickly. Ooh, there's no cannons up here. The only observer, where is that? It's over here. And the roaches on burrow! He burrowed all the way across. The units are gonna try to get into location. So many roaches. Oh, he's right-clicking. He burrows right out, but the observer sees everything. Does he know how to tag him? Oh, a beautiful tag from the observer. And a great reaction out of Duskrain. But does he? He's gonna get caught between a rock and a hard place. Oh no, the charge lots are catching everything. He's being slaughtered. Every single roach, no mercy. Duskrain. He walked right into that trap. Oh, it's a disaster. But it's not about how many roaches or how many hydras you lose. It's about how many you have to replace them. And with 76 drones, 3-3 on the way, Duskrain has plenty in the bank and plenty in the tank. And if I'm gonna be frank, what I need you to know is who to thank, which is you for liking and subscribing this video. Thank you. Give yourself a pat on the back and put your hand back on the mouse, goddammit. Alright? So 3-3 on the way for both sides. Now, it's really going to come down to who micros less in this fight. As we see so far, a right click out of the Protoss. The Hydras are standing their ground, which, when Immortals and Archons are involved, is not always the ideal choice. The Immortals are just pounding through everything. Oh, very angrily staring at that drone. The Immortals showing why they're such a strong unit. It looks like the drone's really interested in killing that Dark Templar and will succeed, but all will die. He's now lost 108 drones, putting him down by 3. The Immortal's just blasting through. 3-3 still in production. It takes quite a while. Duskrain has rebuilt many Hydralisks, but the reinforcements from across the map, Milo, he's got 9 Immortals on the field. Oh my god. Is he going to try to go up the ramp? Ramp, the natural enemy of Bronze League heroes. Oh, another Archon picked off. Does he have detection for the Dark Templar? It's unclear. Oh, yes, he does. Okay. He has the high ground. Duskrain's still able to build a whole lot of units. He's actually ahead in supply. A recall of half the army, the other half will walk home. So Duskrain, undeterred, will continue building roaches and hydras, and, well, no matter the cost. The cost has been great, but it has not been everything. As he's still mining, and he's still got roaches, and he's still got hydras, and while he does, he will stand against the Protoss. Creep be damned. I'm not sure, like Milo killed 2 key bases here, but he didn't actually find the outlying ones. He does have 65 probes himself. He's been building up quite well. But Duskrain, never surrender. He's got 3-3 done. So does the the Protoss, but it's +3 armor, which doesn't help out the Archons, which only have 10 HP very much. But it's pretty nice on the Charge Lots and Immortals. Wait, a Templar Archives is on the way. He's been using Dark Templar Archons this whole time, which are slightly cheaper on the gas, but much more expensive on the minerals. Of course, you can mix and match. In 2010, the Protoss decided to pass all Templar merging legalization, which means that both types of Templar could merge into a singular Archon, as opposed to being limited to just Dark Archons or regular Archons, which was found to be offensive to the Protoss. There's a Spire on the way. That's a lot of Immortals. 11 Immortals with 2 more in production. He knows where his biscuit is buttered. Even a sentry being warped, I'm not sure if that's on purpose, but if he... That is a scary zombie toss army. Called zombie toss, of course, because sometimes it's better if you just A-clicked the other side of the map and walked away from the keyboard, or maybe just fell asleep, or had your little brother take over, or died and were risen up as a zombie and then controlled the army. Usually better than actually microing it. Oh, that is... He's got 13 Immortals! Which is... Well, there's a Greater Spire on the way. Broodlord, if he could get a dozen Broodlords, then there's no way this army has a chance. But that is a very, very scary amount of Immortals. But they're not all here. They're trickling in one by one. The Immortals are late to the party. The Archons are going to have to eat the brunt of this. The Immortals are stutter-stepping forward. But is that actually where they want to be right now? They're body blocking the charge lots. Not until the Immortals die do the charge lots slip through. Guardian Shield is used, but there are so many Hydralisks, he may actually be forced to retreat in one of the only ways you can lose that many Immortals. A beautiful, well, at least we figured out they could die. That's what's important here, is Immortals, their name, a total lie. When Milo is using them especially. As the battle kind of stumbled down the stairs into a major engagement, it looks like that shotgun wedding is going to end in, well, going to be recalled at the very least. There's a single carrier on the way. Uh-oh. He's gonna try to go carriers with barely any gas. He said, well, Winter's Guide said Immortals and Archons were good. But when I trickle into Roach Hydra up a ramp and a concave while blocking out half my own army, they didn't win the game. So obviously, dislike and comment that this did not help me. I need step-by-step hand-holding build orders in order to cannon rush from now on. So might I direct you to print F? Okay, I was allergic to that bullshit, obviously. Storm. So we've just, step by step, climbed one rung at a time, just like the ladder, up the tech tree. The thing is, at some point he may slip and fall. But we started with Adepts, and then Charge Lots, and then Archons and Charge Lots, and then Immortals, Archons, and Charge Lots, and now, finally, Immortals, Archons, Charge Lots, Carriers, and Storm. Where's the mothership? Where's the mothership? A bit of a uncomfortable company here. Where's the mothership, Milo? That's really, at this point, that's the fancy big thing at the top of the tech tree. 1 Muta harass! Didn't go great. But will this prompt incredible amounts of yep. So, the army value is at about 125, give or take, on each side. But he scouted the base with that 1 Muta who gave its life for the swarm. The Stargates and Fleet Beacon are both exposed. The army is coming together, but they're late to the party. Deja vu once again. No, he's tried to micro. He gets the Fleet Beacon. He waits a little while for his army. He's progressing. His tactics. Oh, the Hydra's looking for an opportunity. The A-click is there. Are the storms. Incredible storms. Insane storms. But they also hit the interceptors, making them not quite as great. Many of the interceptors have died to storm. The Archon should be able to clean the rest up. Another carrier shows up. So Duskrain gonna build the variety pack of Zerg units. 13 Corruptors, 13 Roaches, 14 Hydras, and 3 Mutalisks to top everything off. Which actually isn't a terrible response to what he's seeing here. But Milo, on the other hand, rebuilding the Fleet Beacon. He found a carrot. Where was the first Stargate? There's Stargates in the natural. He's starting to rethink putting his Stargates on the front 9, which seems like, you know, maybe a little risky. He's technically scouted this extractor, but is he about to accidentally see this base? Duskrain is back in his main. He's got 2 spires, and he's made one of those spires great. And so far, 200 supply. Well, the unit's lost. Milo has lost overall 6,000 less resources, but he's lost 1,000 more gas. So while both players still have access to many bases, that doesn't matter too much. But the immortal Archon carrier army. Now, he won the fight technically, and he's won many battles. But the war is still, well, he's traded out Immortals for Archons. As time goes on, more and more Archons are making their way. At some point, the army is just going to be entirely Archons. 2 Broodlords on the way. The, oh yeah, I should build these of units. Duskrain evacuated this base a while back when he saw the other one was under attack. These are actually pretty strong armies from both sides, both capable of killing one another. It really does come down to, I'm not going to say the micro so much as where they happen to go head-to-head. But we'll see. That's a whole lot of Archons, but there's a lot to buffer. There's some Templar in the back. The Archon's moving up close. The Broodlord's gonna add some in with the Broodlings. Great storms to start, hitting everything in the ground and air, but he's targeting down the carriers. The Broodlord's helping out a whole ton against the Archons. The Archon count thinning out. Down go the carriers. The Hydras win the day on the ground. The Corruptors in the sky. Most of the Archons. Another Immortal before he recalls out. Great recall usage, by the way, this game. But Duskrain wins the battle. Once again, Milo knocked on his door. And once again, Duskrain said, "Get off my lawn." And now 15 more Roaches to complement. Still plenty of anti-air. And Duskrain, with the ultimate triumph so far of macro over micro, has found himself up by 50 supply. Another base being targeted. Milo's running out of options. Those charge lots, where are they going? That's very optimistic here. My charge lot friends. But they will be able to run by, and the entire Zerg army is chasing after him. His base is essentially mined out. So Duskrain is starting to mine out. Milo is, well, he does have one fresh base. This one's pretty fresh, actually. Still 4 patches and plenty of gas. But Done are the days where Milo could just throw away thousands of gas in every fight. Duskrain has survived, despite losing 142 drones. That's not nearly enough to knock him out. +3, +2 on the way. The cannons are coming up. They will be done in time. They're not going to stop the army for long, but a bit of a roadblock. The Roach Hydra rips right through. Oh, risky recall! He recalls one carrier, immediately exposed, but incredible storms as they all desperately try to get close. But they're not dead yet. The rest of the army trickles into the engagement. I don't know if those storms are going to be enough. He's got one more. He's got one more storm. Insane storm. But he weathers it. Some stalkers warped in. I don't know what else to build, and this definitely isn't it, but I don't know what else to do of units. And suddenly Milo has to tap it out. GG. Duskrain, the unstoppable force. Well, more like the immovable object against unstoppable force. More like immortals are not immortal. Duskrain comes out on top in the war of attrition. In a game that was surprisingly like a real game of StarCraft. Many times the MMR. Once again, Bronze League heroes are not about being bronze, they're about being heroes, and both players there. Just a amicable game of back and forth tug of war StarCraft 2. It's a good game right there. Maybe not a great game, but a good game. But Duskrain rains on Milo's parade, despite his storms. And that's a W. Bronze League.